I was just trying to clear up some clutter when I stumbled upon it. Carter's phone, lying innocently on the kitchen counter. My heart raced as I picked it up, the weight of it feeling heavier than I expected. I knew I shouldn't look, but a terrible curiosity pulled me in. What was he hiding? My fingers trembled as I unlocked the screen, and my breath caught when I saw the messages. "Can't wait to see you tonight, babe. Just us, like old times." My heart sank. I knew that name. My mind raced as I scrolled through more messages, each one slicing deeper into my chest. "You're the only one who makes me feel alive." The betrayal hit like a punch. Was everything he said to me a lie? The world around me blurred as the shock set in, and I felt the weight of my shattered dreams. I wanted to scream, to cry, but all I could do was stare at the screen, frozen in disbelief. "Why, Carter?" I whispered to myself, my voice barely audible over the chaos in my mind. I could feel the tears welling up, but I fought them back. I didn't want to be weak. I didn't want to be the silent victim anymore. A moment of clarity emerged amidst the chaos. It was as if a light flickered on in my mind, illuminating the dark corners where I had hidden my pain. No more. I refused to let him define me. I could no longer stand by while he played the good boyfriend, all while betraying me behind my back. A fire ignited within me. I took a deep breath and allowed myself to think through my anger. I could dismantle Carter's perfect facade. It was time to make a plan. I imagined the look on his face when he learned that I wouldn't just sit back and take it. I pictured myself standing tall, confronting him, revealing everything I had found. "Just wait, Carter," I muttered under my breath, gripping the phone tighter. "You won't get away with this." I set the phone back down, my heart still racing, but now with determination. I grabbed a notebook from the kitchen drawer, feeling an urgency to jot down my thoughts. I needed a strategy. I couldn't just react. I had to be smart about this. What would I do first? I needed proof. I could gather more evidence, share it with the people who thought he was perfect. Did he think I was too naive to figure it out? Did he think I would never catch him? I wrote down some names, people who could help me. Friends who might stand by me, who could share their stories too. There were so many ways to expose him, and the more I thought about it, the more my plan took shape. "Maybe I can reach out to Sienna," I said aloud, the name rolling off my tongue like a lifeline. She was my childhood friend, someone who understood the depth of heartache. I could trust her. Together, we could take on the world. As I scribbled down ideas, a sense of excitement bubbled up inside me. I was no longer the girl who would let her heart be trampled. I would rise from the ashes of my shattered trust. This was my moment. "Carter," I whispered, a smirk creeping onto my face. "You have no idea what's coming for you." With each word I wrote, I felt stronger, more empowered. I was ready to fight back, to reclaim my life from the wreckage he left behind. What would happen next? How far would I go to unveil his lies? I had no idea, but I felt alive with the possibilities. The chaos inside me began to settle, replaced by a fierce determination. This was just the beginning, and I was ready to face whatever lay ahead. After the shock of finding Carter's messages, I felt lost. I needed someone to talk to, someone who would understand my pain. That's when I thought of Sienna, my childhood friend. We had drifted apart over the years, but I knew she would be there for me. I picked up my phone and dialed her number, my heart racing with anticipation. It rang a few times before she answered. "Alara, is that you?" Her voice was warm, like a cozy blanket on a cold day. "It's me, Sienna," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "Can we meet? I really need to talk." "Of course. Let's meet at our old cafe. You remember the one with the blue awning?" "Yeah, I remember," I replied, a small smile creeping onto my face. The cafe held so many memories, both good and bad. "I'll see you there." When I arrived at the cafe, I felt a mix of excitement and fear. I spotted Sienna sitting at a table by the window. She looked the same, but there was a sadness in her eyes that I hadn't seen before. As I sat down, she reached out and took my hand. "Ilara, it's so good to see you," she said, her voice soft. "What's going on? You look different." I took a deep breath, trying to gather my thoughts. "I found something out about Carter," I whispered, the words tumbling out. "He's been cheating on me." Sienna's eyes widened. "Oh no, Ilara. I'm so sorry." She squeezed my hand tighter. "I went through something similar with my ex-husband. It's painful." "I can't believe he would do this to me," I said, feeling tears prick at my eyes. "I thought we had a good life together." "We often think that," Sienna replied, her voice filled with understanding. "But people can surprise us in the worst ways. It feels like a betrayal of everything we believed in." As we talked, I could feel the walls I had built around my heart starting to crumble. We shared stories of our heartbreaks, laughing at the silly things we used to do, and crying over the pain that lingered. It felt good to let it all out. "I've been feeling so alone," I confessed. "I thought I could just ignore it. But now I want to do something about it." Sienna nodded, her expression serious. "We can't just let them walk away with our hearts, Ilara. We have to fight back, together." "What do you mean?" I asked, intrigued. "Let's expose Carter's infidelities," she suggested. "We can use social media to share what he did. It's time to show everyone who he really is." I felt a surge of energy. "You think so? What if it backfires?" Sienna shook her head. "It won't. We're not just doing this for revenge. We're doing it for ourselves. We deserve to be heard." As her words sank in, I felt a new strength rising within me. This was not just about Carter anymore. It was about reclaiming my identity and my power. I looked at Sienna, and for the first time since I found those messages, I felt a glimmer of hope. "Okay," I said, my voice steady. "Let's do it. Let's take him down." Sienna smiled, a fierce light in her eyes. "Yes! We'll turn our pain into something powerful. We can help each other heal while we take a stand." As we brainstormed ideas, I realized that I was no longer the silent victim. I had someone by my side who understood my struggles, and together we could create a plan that would expose Carter for who he truly was. I felt a warmth spread through me, a sense of belonging that I had missed for so long. "Thank you for being here, Sienna," I said, my heart full. "I don't know what I would do without you." "You're never alone, Ilara," she replied, her smile brightening the room. "We're in this together." And in that moment, I knew I was ready to awaken from my sorrow and step into my own strength. I sat at my kitchen table, my heart racing with a mix of excitement and fear. Sienna and I had spent hours planning our next move, and now it was time. We had created an anonymous social media account to expose Carter's betrayal. As I opened the app, my fingers trembled slightly. This was it, the start of our campaign. "Are you ready, Ilara?" Sienna asked, her voice steady but filled with anticipation. I nodded, though I felt a knot in my stomach. "Yeah, let's do this." With a deep breath, I clicked post. The first message went live, outlining Carter's lies. I felt a rush of adrenaline as I hit send. The thrill of taking action filled me, and I knew I was no longer the silent victim. Over the next few days, we posted more messages. Each one revealed a little more about Carter's infidelities. We shared screenshots and stories, carefully crafting each post. I felt like a warrior, fighting for my dignity. As the posts spread, I watched the reactions pour in. Friends and family began to comment, sharing their shock and disbelief. "I can't believe this," one friend wrote. "I always thought Carter was a good guy." I felt a bittersweet satisfaction. It was painful to see people I cared about hurt, but I also felt a sense of justice. This was what I had been missing for so long. Sienna was by my side, always supportive. "You're doing amazing, Alara," she said one night as we sat on the couch, scrolling through the responses. "You're so strong." "Thanks, Sienna," I replied, feeling grateful for her presence. "I couldn't do this without you." Our bond deepened as we shared our struggles. Sienna revealed more about her own heartbreak, and I listened intently. "I thought I was going to spend my life with him," she confessed, her voice filled with pain. "It's hard to let go." I nodded, understanding her feelings all too well. "I know how you feel. It's like you're losing a part of yourself." We both sat in silence for a moment, the weight of our experiences hanging in the air. It was comforting to know I wasn't alone. But as the campaign continued, I began to grapple with another feeling: guilt. Was I doing the right thing? One night, I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. "What if I'm just as bad as he is?" I whispered to myself. The thought haunted me. Sienna sensed my struggle. "Ilara, it's okay to feel guilty," she said gently when I shared my thoughts with her. "But remember, this is about you taking back your power. You deserve justice." Her words helped ease my worries. I needed to remind myself that I was not the one who betrayed trust. Carter had crossed a line, and I was merely exposing the truth. As the campaign gained traction, I witnessed the power of our message. Women began to reach out, sharing their own stories of betrayal. I realized that my pain was not just mine, it was part of a larger narrative. "Look at all these messages," I said to Sienna one afternoon, overwhelmed by the responses. "It's like we're creating a community." "We are," she smiled. "And it's beautiful. You're helping others feel less alone." I felt a sense of purpose wash over me. The thrill of our campaign was exhilarating, but the connections we were forming gave me hope. As I sat in front of my laptop typing another post, I could feel the spark of my revenge plan turning into something more significant. It was no longer just about getting back at Carter. It was about reclaiming my life and empowering others. "Let's keep going, Sienna," I said, my voice filled with determination. "We have to keep fighting." "Absolutely," she replied, her eyes shining with resolve. "Together, we can do anything." And in that moment, I knew I was ready to face whatever came next. I was no longer just Alara, the woman who had been betrayed. I was Alara, a warrior on a mission, and I was not going to back down. I stood in front of the mirror, my heart pounding in my chest. Today was the day I would confront Carter. I could feel the tension in the air, thick and heavy, like a storm waiting to break. I took a deep breath, trying to calm the whirlwind of emotions inside me. "I can do this," I whispered to myself. "I am stronger than I was before." When I arrived at the cafe where we agreed to meet, my stomach twisted with nerves. I spotted him sitting at a table, his back to me, casually scrolling through his phone. I felt a mix of anger and sadness as I approached. This was the man I once trusted, the one who had shattered my world. As I sat down, he looked up, a smile spreading across his face. "Hey, Alara, it's been a while." His voice was light, as if nothing had changed. But everything had changed. "Yeah, it has," I replied, trying to keep my voice steady. "We need to talk." His smile faded, replaced by a puzzled look. "Talk? About what?" I took a deep breath and decided it was time to lay it all bare. "About us, Carter. About what you did." He frowned, leaning back in his chair. "What do you mean? I thought we were past this." "Past what? Your betrayal?" "I found your phone, Carter. I saw the messages." My voice trembled with the weight of my words. His expression shifted to one of defensive arrogance. "You shouldn't have gone through my stuff, Alara. That's an invasion of privacy." I clenched my fists under the table, fighting to keep my composure. "Invasion of privacy?" You broke my heart. You had no problem invading my trust." He sighed, running a hand through his hair. "Look, I made a mistake. Can't we just move on?" "Move on?" I scoffed. "Do you even understand the pain you caused? It's not just a mistake to me. It was a betrayal that shattered everything I believed in." Carter's eyes narrowed, and I could see the anger boiling beneath the surface. "I didn't mean for things to go that far. I was confused." "Confused?" I repeated, incredulous. "You chose to cheat. You chose to lie. That's not confusion. That's a choice." For a moment, silence engulfed us. I could see the wheels turning in his head, but I no longer cared about his explanations. I had spent too long being the victim, and now it was time to reclaim my power. "I am not going to let you define me anymore, Carter," I said firmly. "I am stronger than your betrayal." He looked taken aback, and for a moment, I reveled in that shock. I was no longer the girl who would cry over his infidelity. I had found my voice, and it was powerful. "I deserve better than this," I continued, feeling a sense of liberation with each word. "I deserve honesty and respect. You took that from me, and I am not going to let you take any more." Carter's expression softened, but I could see it was only for a moment. "Ilara, No, you don't get to apologize now," I interrupted, shaking my head. "You had your chance. You chose your path, and now I am choosing mine." I felt the tears welling up, but I refused to let them fall. This was not a moment for weakness. It was a moment for strength. "I am moving on, Carter. I won't be your victim anymore." As I stood to leave, I could see the realization dawn on him. I was no longer the girl he could manipulate. "Wait, Ilara," he called out, but I just shook my head. "I hope one day you understand the pain you caused. But for now, I need to take care of myself." With that, I walked away, feeling the weight of my past lift off my shoulders. Each step felt lighter than the last, and I knew I had taken the first big step toward my healing. I was ready to embrace the future, no matter what it held. After the confrontation with Carter, I felt a strange mix of relief and emptiness. The storm inside me began to calm, but I knew I had a long way to go. I took a deep breath and decided it was time to focus on my healing. Sienna and I met at our favorite cafe, a small place with warm lighting and the smell of fresh coffee filling the air. As I sipped my latte, I looked at her and said, "I think it's time we do something together, something that helps others like us." Sienna raised an eyebrow, curious. "What do you have in mind?" I leaned in, excitement bubbling inside me. "A support group for women who have been betrayed. We can share our stories, help each other heal, and build a community." Sienna smiled, her eyes shining. "I love that idea. We can create a safe space for women to talk and feel understood." We spent the next hour brainstorming. We talked about what the group would look like, how we would reach out to women who needed support, and what kind of activities we could do. I felt a rush of energy as we planned. This was not just about me anymore, it was about all of us who had faced heartbreak. As the days passed, we launched our support group. We called it Women Rising. The response was overwhelming. Women began to join from all walks of life, each with their own story of betrayal and loss. It felt incredible to see so many faces lighting up with hope. During our first meeting, I stood in front of the group, my heart pounding. "Welcome, everyone. I want you to know that this is a safe space. We are here to support each other, to listen, and to heal together." A woman in the back raised her hand, her voice trembling. "I've been hurt so many times, and I don't know how to move on." I nodded, feeling the weight of her pain. "You're not alone. We are all here because we understand what you're going through. Let's share our stories, and maybe we can find some healing together." As the meeting went on, I listened to the women share their experiences. Some cried, while others laughed through their pain. Each story resonated with me, and I could see the strength in each woman as they opened up. After the meeting, Sienna and I sat together, feeling a sense of accomplishment. "This is just the beginning," she said, her smile wide. "We are creating something powerful here." I smiled back, my heart swelling with pride. It feels good to help others. It's healing me too. Over the next few weeks, our group grew. We organized activities like yoga sessions, art therapy, and even a book club. Women began to form friendships, supporting each other outside of our meetings. It was beautiful to witness. One evening, after a particularly emotional session, a woman named Maria approached me. "Ilara, I just wanted to thank you. This group has changed my life. I felt so lost before, but now I feel hopeful." Her words touched me deeply. "I'm so glad to hear that, Maria. We are all on this journey together, and your strength inspires us all." As I continued to lead the group, I realized that my journey was not just about revenge or healing from Carter's betrayal. It was about embracing vulnerability. I learned that being open about my pain made me stronger. I was no longer just a victim. I was a survivor, and I had the power to help others. One day during a group session, I shared my own story. I used to feel ashamed of my heartbreak, but now I see it as a part of my journey. It has shaped me into who I am today. A woman named Jenna looked at me, tears in her eyes. "Thank you for sharing that. I've been ashamed too, but maybe it's time to let that go." I smiled at her, feeling a sense of connection. Yes, let's embrace our stories. They are what make us unique and strong. As the weeks turned into months, I felt a lightness in my heart. The healing was not just mine, it was ours. I learned that strength lies not only in overcoming pain, but also in the community we build around us. I was grateful for the journey and for the women who stood beside me, reminding me that love, in all its forms, could be both a poison and a remedy. Together, we were choosing to cultivate the latter. Standing at the crossroads of my new life, I take a deep breath and let the memories wash over me. It feels strange to think about how far I have come since that moment when I discovered Carter's betrayal. The pain of that day still lingers, but it is no longer a heavy weight on my heart. Instead, it feels like a scar, a reminder of my resilience. I glance at my reflection in the mirror. The woman staring back at me is different from the one who once felt lost and broken. I see strength in her eyes, a new light that shines with hope. I smile at her, whispering softly, "You did it, Ilara. You survived." My phone buzzes, pulling me from my thoughts. It's Sienna. "Hey, are we still on for lunch?" she texts. "Of course, can't wait to see you," I reply, a flutter of excitement in my chest. Sienna has become my anchor, the sister I never had. Our bond has grown stronger with every shared story and laugh. When I arrive at our favorite cafe, Sienna is already waiting at a table by the window. She waves enthusiastically, and I feel my heart lift. "Ilara, look at you," she exclaims as I sit down. "You're glowing." "Thanks, I've been working on myself, you know," I reply, feeling proud. "I think I'm finally starting to embrace who I really am." Sienna leans in, her eyes sparkling. "That's amazing. I can see it. You've come so far since everything with Carter. You deserve this happiness." As we chat over lunch, we talk about the support group we started for women like us. "I can't believe how many women have reached out," Sienna says, her voice filled with excitement. "It's like we're creating a community of strength." I nod, feeling a warmth spread through me. It's incredible. I never thought I could help others while healing myself. It's like we're all in this together. Sienna smiles knowingly. "Exactly, and you've been such an inspiration to them. Remember when we met Mary? She was so grateful for the group." "Yeah, she touched my heart," I say, recalling the way Mary's eyes sparkled with hope during our last meeting. It feels good to be a part of something bigger than ourselves. After lunch, We decide to take a walk through the park. The sun shines brightly and the air is fresh. I breathe it in deeply, feeling alive. "You know," I start, glancing at Sienna, "I've been thinking about love. It can be such a tricky thing." Sienna raises an eyebrow, curious. "What do you mean?" "I mean, it can hurt so much, like what Carter did to me. But it can also heal," I explain, stopping to watch some children play. "I want to choose love as a remedy, not a poison. I want to surround myself with people who lift me up." Sienna nods thoughtfully. "That's a beautiful way to look at it. Love should empower us, not break us." As we continue walking, I feel a sense of freedom. I have learned to let go of the past, to embrace the lessons it taught me. The scars of my heart are not marks of shame. They are symbols of my journey. Each one tells a story of survival, of strength, and of transformation. "I think I'm ready to date again," I say suddenly, surprising myself with the admission. "I want to open my heart again, but this time, I want to do it right." Sienna grins widely. "That's amazing. You deserve to find someone who appreciates you for who you are." I chuckle, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. I just hope I can find someone who understands the importance of trust and respect. "You will," Sienna reassures me. "You're stronger now, and you know what you want. Just take your time." As we reach the end of the park, I look up at the sky and feel a sense of peace wash over me. I am ready for whatever comes next. I choose to cultivate love, joy, and connection in my life, leaving behind the shadows of betrayal. "Here's to new beginnings," I say, raising an imaginary glass. "To new beginnings," Sienna echoes, and we laugh, the sound ringing out like a promise of all the wonderful things to come. If you believe in the power of love to heal and transform, share this story with someone who needs to hear it. Leave a comment about a time when you chose love over pain, and subscribe for more inspiring stories like this one. Let's embrace new beginnings together.